Kai never died. Cobra Kai season 3. Yeah, I'm a little late on this just cause I just wanted to watch it a few times so I could get my full analysis on this whole season cause I just love the show Cobra Kai, as you guys already know by watching my previous videos. So just to let you know, there's a spoiler filled video. So if you haven't watched it, go out and watch it. It's on Netflix, all 3 seasons. So let's get into Cobra Kai season 3. What I really love about this show that a lot of people are just like, even though some of them are assholes, it's like they show a reason why they're assholes. Like you get to see more into what made them become who they are. Like for example, John Kreese, the main bad guy of the movie, well season, and it shows him like in a flashback. He's like a busboy. He gets picked on by a bully, and then he ends up fighting him, beating the shit out of him, and he ends up joining the war. Well, Vietnam War. He ends up joining the army, and then stuff happen. You get to see like the way Kreese is now is because of what he had to go through during that time. You even get to see his captain and like his captain's literally like smoking like a thick ass cigar, so it shows like, oh, where Kreese gets to like his love of cigars, I guess. And he even shows him like in life there is no mercy, especially in war and stuff. So like you see that mentality of why Kreese is the way he is about war and having no mercy against anyone. So I actually really like that. Towards the end of his journey into that war, it kind of like starts being kind of ridiculous because they end up having them like fighting like Mortal Kombat style, where it's like fighting to the death, and you throw them into this pit, and like this pit's just full of snakes. So it shows like, okay, that's, well, it's full of cobras, so that's why he decided to name his dojo Cobra Kai. So it kind of gets kind of ridiculous, but at the same time, I really enjoyed it just because, like I said, it was cool seeing a backstory to Kreese and showing like, oh, so he's not just an asshole because he was just born being an asshole. It's like it shows the progression to him being the way he is now. What I want to talk about is that I love how after season two ends with this huge ass brawl at the school. And you would think, like, I've seen in so many other shows where they leave such a cliffhanger and it gets resolved in the first episode of the next season, and kind of just like it kind of gets brushed off. But they don't do this with this show at all. It shows that because of that big brawl, everything changed up. Like now they're having security guards at the school, like checking their bags, which is like, it's not like any weapons were involved in that brawl. Like everyone just knows karate. So, but anyways, you could get to see like Miguel's like in this coma for 2 weeks, and after he wakes up from that coma, he needs to deal with the fact maybe he's not able to walk anymore, even after surgery. And then you get to see Robbie on the run. Samantha's dealing with like PTSD and dealing with the whole fighting situation, like dealing with Tori and all that. Tori is like on his probation, and you get to see like a lot of people are just dealing with the magnifications of what happened in that fight. Especially Daniel and his wife dealing with like their business is not doing so well since their top, like Daniel's top student Robbie is the one that put Miguel in that coma. And so I really like that. It showed like I remember watching that fight and thinking, oh my god, so just so out there. But then it shows like there's a reason, like because of that, like now it's like a cause and effect. Like because of this fight, it lands like so many different characters into this other position that I did enjoy that part of it. You get to see Johnny in his lowest of all lows. Like he's probably even lower than he was in the beginning of season 1. He just lost his dojo to John Kreese. His top student, almost like his son figure, is in a hospital in a coma, and his actual son's on the run. It's just like he's just so down. He's just so down. And every time he's trying to just crawl out of that pit that he dug himself into before, it just seems like he just keeps throwing back in his face like, nope, you're just gonna deal with all kinds of shit. Like, cause even later on, like he's always trying to deal with Robbie, always trying to be in his good graces, always trying to find that common ground with him. But one thing or another, it just ends up not working out. His son's always just like, oh, fuck off, dad. Like, I don't need you. I never had before. You were never there for me. So it's kind of just like, but you always felt pretty good when he's trying to make up those things when he's with Miguel. Like he's trying to be that father that he never had, and that father he tried to be with Robbie to Miguel. And I always enjoyed that throughout these seasons, like him just being that father figure that Miguel never had, and the father figure that Johnny never had, and he never got to be with Robbie. And it was kind of heartbreaking when they first reunite, when Miguel finally wakes up from his coma, that Miguel just didn't want nothing to do with him. He's showing like, I know everything you told me to. I showed Robbie mercy, and look what happened. Like now I'm in this coma. Why am I like this? Like it kind of like it started showing tension between those two, especially with Miguel towards Johnny. Like, and it felt really well earned, and just like but it just kind of hit you in the gut. At least it hit me, where it's just like, oh, that's sad. Like Johnny he just feels like he can't do anything right, and he just everything just goes to shit with him. Daniel, he's trying to find Robbie so he could like be okay again, and like he ends up finding Robbie, and he ends up just taking him into the authorities, and Robbie didn't like that, so Robbie ends up being like, you know what, fuck off, I don't need you anymore either. And then Daniel just kind of just like dealing with his business not doing so well. He's even losing this contract to Japan, delivering like Japanese cars. Even like he's losing to his rival in the auto ship, Tom Colson. I can't really remember his name too much, but he's losing to him. So his only way out of this is going to Tokyo, Japan, trying to get back that deal he had with the Japanese auto deal and all that. It doesn't go so well, so he's kind of down his luck too. He ends up going to Okinawa, where the events of the Karate Kid Part 2 takes place. And I actually really enjoyed this. It showed that he ends up reconnecting with the girl that he was with in that second movie. I can't really remember her name, and I feel like if I try to say it, like I'll just butcher it. But they reconnect, and I thought it was like a really sweet, genuine moment. And then like they end up like going back to her place, and she ended up reading all these old letters that Miyagi sent to her mom, and Daniel's getting to read some. Like he even reads this one letter from Miyagi on his last week that he was still alive. I thought that was really good. It was really tear jerking. Like it was just so. It was so genuine. It's just I just love the show with Daniel when throughout these seasons, like they always somehow bring in Miyagi, still teaching him even when he's dead. Like he's still in a way teaching Daniel more and more and more lessons to develop more and more into his adult life. I always love that. Like even though Daniel's older, like Miyagi's age, like he's the same age as Miyagi was in the Karate Kid movies. He's still learning. He's still developing on how to be a better person, and I really do enjoy that very much. Not only we get the love interest from the second movie, we also get the main villain of the second movie, which is Chosen, which I was like, oh, that's cool. Chosen's in this one. Like to me, I was always kind of like, oh, whatever about him, because he was so over the top, like trying to fight Daniel to the death. But when you see him, it's kind of like, oh, he's just this grumpy old guy, But you find out he was just putting it as a front. Like he's actually like a really good guy. Like he learned his lesson from the second one. He even said like he was thinking about ending his life. Like he disgraced his family. So from then on, he's just trying to improve his life and just trying to do right what he'd done wrong beforehand. And I really did enjoy that. I thought that was a pretty good twist. Like you could have been like, you could have had another like Daniel and Johnny rivalry still continuing on, even though they're all old. But no, like Chosen just like, no, now he's a teacher. Like has his own karate dojo that he's teaching to other kids. What I thought that was pretty cool. He even like they had a sparring session. I thought it was awesome. He ends up like hitting Daniel in the pressure points to like render him weakless, where he can't do nothing anymore. And he also does that honk like you got to see in the second one. I thought that was a pretty cool callback. And that's what I love about the callbacks in this series. It's like they never feel forced. They never feel like they're just throwing out there, oh, because remember that they did in those movies? No, like they feel well earned. They feel like they have a point into bringing those things from those movies back into the show. especially with the whole honking and all that. And getting to see that Daniel and Chosen finally make mans and go on, it kind of shows Daniel could, like, maybe he could do the same thing with Johnny. Like, maybe he doesn't have to keep on this rivalry for so long anymore. The two main people from Cobra Kai, we got Tori and Hawk. And Tori, um, I think she's a pretty cool character. You get to see her into what she's dealing with in her home, like dealing with a sick mother, having to pay all the bills, and having to deal with like a creepy ass landlord. And thank God Kreese was there to handle him up. But you kind of start seeing like maybe she's just a straight up psychopath into like she just wants to get like blood on her hands with Sam's. Like she's like hell bent on getting Sam. Like she wants to kill Sam. And I'm just kind of like, I think they could just dial it back or like show more into her, like the way she is, kind of how they did with John Kreese. I think I would have bought it more into that. Like, don't get me wrong, I like, to me, I was like, okay, I kind of see where they're going with, like I just said, with the whole sick mother and like dealing with like people like the landlord and all. So you kind of see like she has this mindset where this world is just fucked up, so she kind of is the way she is. But it's like Sam never really done anything that extent to her for her to be the way she is. Like, I get it, like I think it's just all miscommunication, and plus like her kissing Miguel, and she kind of just like, oh, this whole team drama. This kind of starts with that. But with Hawk, he's such an interesting character that I've loved throughout these series, and it's just the way he starts off, he's just like that weird kid with the lip, and he ends up forming, and he's always like he's just getting bullied. Now he's like the main bully of Cobra Kai, and but you got to see like the stuff that he's like doing, and you kind of see like in his facial expressions that like maybe he's not believing everything that Kreese is doing is right. And I was like, finally he's opening his eyes a little bit more and more, because in season 2 he was like all full board on John Kreese's side, and then this season is showing that like, oh, maybe he doesn't have the best interest in me, because like you seeing like he's kicking off like most of Hawk's friends off of Cobra Kai because of one thing or another, just Kreese just being Kreese. And he's even like Kreese even allows like the bullies from season 1 into Cobra Kai, and so it started opening up Hawk's eyes more, seeing like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be with this guy anymore. But at the same time, Hawk does have his moments where it's just kind of like, oh, he's going like really overboard on what he's doing, like especially when this one when he breaks Dimitri's arm, and that shit was like, just hearing Dimitri crying about it, like oh, like it was kind of hard for me to watch, even though even later on when he has to spar one of his bullies from season 1, not Kyler, but the other guy, and then he ends up just beating him to a pulp, like, and he even spits on him. I was like, and I really like the effectiveness of that shot, because it shows like he just beat the shit out of him, and then after he was done, it doesn't even show the kid how he looks afterwards. You just see everyone else's face like looking at him, kind of just like, oh, like kind of disgusted, like, and like even like scared of seeing that. And it's kind of, I think that was more effective than just showing how the kid looks, and it shows that Hawk is just almost kind of to the point where he's almost gone in a way. And he does come back. He decides to, you know what, I'm done with Cobra Kai, and he ends up joining the right side. So I thought that was a pretty good arc of Hawk. I think they could have done more into him switching sides. It kind of just felt sudden, and I felt like they could have done a little bit more into that, like played more into why he decides not to be with Cobra Kai anymore. I think that would have been a really well done. We got Miguel, and Miguel, he wakes up and he's like not able to move his legs. They even said after surgery you might not be able to walk anymore. So he has the surgery, and then he ends up just trying to move his legs. Johnny's doing all these crazy shit too. Sorry about that. Trying to keep on walking, and I really enjoyed that part of the season. Just seeing like, we get to, it reminded me of season 1, like how it was just Johnny and Miguel, like before all these other students came in. It was just Johnny and Miguel just trying to figure out, like he's teaching Miguel how to do karate and all that stuff. And now this one, he's trying to teach Miguel how to walk, and trying to and I just love the moments where it's just Johnny and Miguel. Like I think that's the main heart and soul of this show, and getting to see more of that and kind of like bringing back to the beginning, and but throw like a little more like new elements into it. I think that was well done. I was really enjoying that. Like there were some tearjerker moments when Miguel was finally able to stand and they hugged it out. It's just like I don't know. It just makes it really well. It just makes it really like heartwarming to see that. And then you know Miguel is still dealing with other obstacles, like even like he's trying to kick, and he's not able to do it like the way he was. But towards the end, when he was fighting Kyler, like you finally get to see that he was still like he still has it in him, and he ends up kicking Kyler's ass again. And I was like, yes, because that was awesome seeing Kyler get his ass beat again by Miguel. I always thought that was great. Miguel is probably like he's probably my favorite character. Then it's Johnny. So just seeing Miguel like his journey throughout season 3, that was like my favorite part of the whole season so far. Robbie always gonna be in kind of a mixed bag for me. Like when he was first introduced, he was kind of just like this fucking like this asshole kid. But you kind of see why, like his mom is kind of like right now she's in rehab, so she was like beforehand she was always dealing with like alcohol and always leaving him to be with other guys and all that. And Johnny was never really there growing up, so you kind of see like he does not trust adults that much, and like the people that should have had his back didn't have his back towards like in the very end. He also sees that with Daniel when Daniel turns him into the cops. So now he's just like, I can't trust no one. He even feels like he lost Sam to Miguel. So he's like kind of in a dark place again. And then who's there to take advantage of that? John Kreese. John Kreese goes to visit him, tells him all this stuff. Like, maybe you should strike first instead of getting your ass beat. So he listens to him and he actually strikes first on these guys that he was in juvie with. And he earns their respect and he starts fucking with them. So he's like, oh, you know what? Maybe John Kreese does have a thing or two. Like, he knows what the fuck he's talking about. So after he finally gets out of juvie, he goes and go with John Kreese. He ends up joining Cobra Kai in the end, which I was like, to me, it really felt like Anakin Skywalker from Star Wars for some reason. Just like you're trying to put him in this right path of righteousness, and then one thing or another happens to him where he's like, you know what? Maybe the people I was trusting are not the people I should be trusting. So he ends up going with like the main bad guy of the whole series, and now he's gonna be like the top star of Cobra Kai. So I can't wait to see where that goes. Cause I would love to see Robbie just being a full on bad guy in season 4. Cause I just feel like he should be like don't get me wrong, it was really awesome seeing him with Daniel and like you know being the way he was, like just be on the right path. But like, I would love to see him being like the full on bad guy under John Kreese in Cobra Kai. So I can't wait to see that in season 4. I was talking about like we got to see Chosen and we got to see the love interest from from the second Karate Kid movie. Not only they came back, but so did Ali from the first Karate Kid movie. She comes back, she reconnects with Johnny, and at first I was kind of worried about it because I was like, are we gonna have like a love triangle with Johnny, Ali, and Miguel's mom Carmen? But no, like it was like so adult about it, saying like they were just reconnecting, just showing like I think like them reconnecting was like something necessary for Johnny's character to develop even more, because it's showing that like yeah they had their thing, but they're not the end game, if you could say that. It's like I think she opens up his eyes, not only his eyes but Daniel's eyes, that like maybe they're both in the wrong and throughout in the first Karate Kid movie and throughout this whole series. That she even said, she's like, look, you have one thing to say and he has another thing to say. It's like you guys are always at odds. I mean, you guys are like honestly are like the exact same in so many ways, and you just don't want to realize it. And she's like, she even tells him that I've been saying this whole time too. It's like there's 3 sides to every story. It's just there's your side, there's Daniel's side, and there's the truth, and which is Ali. And if you're like talking about it in the show, Ali's showing them that both of them are hotheads, both of them have quick tempers, both of them are kind of just like both think they're always in the right, thinking that they're always the victim in their own story. So she finally opens up their eyes, like, hey, like, you guys need to stop this, So I thought that was a really cool addition to her character. I thought because when I first heard like, oh, that would be cool, and I was thinking like, oh, I hope she doesn't end up being like a love triangle or anything like that. But no, she brought purpose, and that's what I love about the show. It's like when they bring back old characters or stuff from the movies, there's a purpose into it, and I thought she had a pretty good placement into these 2 episodes that she was in season 3. The Cobra Kai series is nothing without a final fight in their last episode of the season. In season 1, we got that tournament. I don't think nothing's gonna beat that. Maybe season 4, who knows? Season 2, we got that huge brawl at the school. I thought that was awesome, but I love the tournament more. And this one, we got to see a huge fight at Daniel's house, where we get to see Miyagi-Do students teaming up with Johnny's new dojo, where it's called Eagle Fang Karate. Weird name. They even mention it in this, like, yeah, that's a weird name, but I mean, it's something that Johnny would pick. But oh well. So they're like trying to be like, we need to team up to take down we need to take down Cobra Kai, because they're just straight up all assholes in their own way. And then what happens? The Cobra Kai students all come in trying to jump them, and so we had this big brawl at the house, and it's probably my least favorite fight, like from the final fights in this series, because there's moments where I'm like, yeah, like that's not the actual actor, that's a stunt double in a wig, and so it kind of like it would take me out, like, and there's moments where it's kind of just like you would see people in the back, like you have like the main people fighting in the front, and then you have the main like other people in the background kind of fighting like this, and it kind of just like looks really amateurish, and it was just like that kind of would take me out. And then like they really like bogged down on like Sam and Tori, and it's kind of like I don't know, like to me like the whole fight wasn't, it was still entertaining to see, but I think we had way better ones. So I hope like for season 4 they do better on that. And plus it was kind of like hard seeing like even like Kyler like throwing Miguel off, like putting him like through a table or something, like throwing him off stuff. Like he literally just got surgery on his spine, and this fucker, like these people are just like throwing him off, and it's kind of like, oh, like it just shows like Cobra Kai are just really like asshole students now. Like they're just out for blood every time now. So that's not the only fight we got. We also got to see Johnny going up to confront Kreese finally, and he ends up seeing that Robbie's part of Cobra Kai now, and he's like all heartbroken. He's like, why? And then I don't know. I thought that was a really cool visual, seeing John Kreese, his old student Johnny there, like ex Cobra Kai, and we get to see his new student Robbie. So it's like he even says like it's this whole like all 3 generations. It's like, and I'm kind of just like, dude, I don't know why. I was like, I actually like that. I thought that was pretty cool. Then we got to see John Kreese and Johnny finally fighting each other, and to me it was kind of like I really liked it, but at the same time it was kind of taking me out of it sometimes, because you would see like, yeah, that's not John Kreese himself, that's a stunt double. Oh god, I don't know why. It felt like it was more noticeable this season than it has been in the other seasons, but it was still pretty cool seeing them fighting. And then we also got to see Robbie fighting Johnny, and Johnny's just like, not, he's like, dude, I'm not gonna fight you, you're my kid. And he just like, that kid was going out for blood. Like he was punching him in the face and just like going right at him, and then he just ended up destroying him against the locker head first. And then that's when John Kreese goes in and choking him to the point where he's just gonna die. But we get to see Daniel coming in to fight John Kreese, and I was like, yes, like I don't know, I was so hyped seeing John Kreese facing off Daniel LaRusso. I was like, yes, like fuck yeah. And we got to see him go, and you even see like John Kreese like tackle him through a fucking like glass window, and he was about to stab him with a sharp glass, and it's like, you and Miyagi are gonna finally reunite. And I was like, oh, this bitch. And then Daniel does the pressure points that he learned from Chosen earlier, and he does it on him. Almost gonna go for the kill. Johnny goes there, they see each other, and Johnny kind of gives him that like, yeah, it's okay, go for it, do it. I'm on your side. And he's about to go for the killing shot, but Sam and Miguel get there to like stop it. And so they're like seeing Johnny and Daniel teaming up. We get to see him earlier in the season, but it ends up just like not working out. But this time you get to see him teaming up, and they're just like, you need to leave. You're done. Like, you need to get the fuck out. Cobra Kai needs to be no more. And he's like, how about John Kreese is like, how about we settle this the old fashioned way? How about at the tournament? If I lose, I'll leave town. If you lose, and Johnny's like, we're not gonna lose. And it's just like, damn. And you get to see Robbie coming out and seeing like he's seeing John like his dad, Daniel, Miguel, and Sam. In his eyes, like the people that like all four people that disappointed him in some way somehow, saying like, get out. Now he's with John Kreese. And now we're gonna see a huge tournament next season, whereas we're gonna have Miguel and Johnny's students, which is like the combination of Miyagi-Do and Eagle Fang Karate against John Kreese's Cobra Kai. And I honestly can't wait. I honestly don't know how they're gonna do that, because it's like, I'm assuming John Kreese is gonna lose, just because it's like, how long can this dude be like the main bad guy for more and more seasons? But who knows? And I'm like, who's gonna win though? Like, is it gonna be Miguel? Is it gonna be Robbie? Is it gonna be Sam? Is it gonna be Hawk? Like, I can't wait to see that. I'm like so excited for season 4. Ends with John Kreese calling someone saying, "Hey, I need you," and it might have been that war buddy he had back in those flashbacks, and it's probably Terry Silver from the Karate Kid 3, which I'm like, okay, I can't wait to see him. And maybe they will bring out that one dude from Karate Kid 3 that Daniel had a fight in that tournament too. So who knows? But it was awesome seeing like Daniel's students and Johnny's students combining, and like them to like finally joining forces to take down John Kreese. Like, I think that was like almost like kind of like the end game of this show, like having Daniel and Johnny finally teaming up, because like they're always been at odds since the very first movie in 1984, 83, I don't know. But and throughout this series too, like, and they had their moments where it's like they're getting close to finally like squashing the beef and continue like moving on, but they just don't. And finally after like Allie and like having to deal with John Kreese, they're finally just like, we need to team up to defeat this one evil bastard. Guys, that's Cobra Kai season 3. I talk as much as I can. I obviously left a lot of some details about the show. So, but like I said, you guys need to go out and watch this whole series. There's 3 seasons, 10 episodes each, half an hour long each one. I feel like you guys need to go out and watch. Is this actually really good? It's just really good television. And I hope to see you guys next time. And yeah, have a great day.